Welcome back to RPG Rookies, where we cover Dungeons and Dragons, tabletop role-playing games, and all things fantasy. I am your dungeon minion, and today we're going to be doing a flip through of this book right here, the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. This is the core rulebook, and it is by Matt Forbeck. So let's just open up these pages, and we see the credits over here, the writer, designer, and all the other collaborators who worked on this project. Here we have the table of contents, includes all the different sections and the different pages in which you can find these sections. And we start with this cool artwork of a bunch of superheroes playing a Dungeons and Dragons or RPG tabletop game. We see Beast here with Thing, and we see She-Hulk and Nick Fury and Captain Marvel. So this is really cool. They could all be playing poker or something like that, but instead they're playing a tabletop role-playing game. And the first section we have is the how to play section here. Okay. All right. Good amount of Marvel artwork here. We have Thor and Thor, Jane Foster Thor, not to mention Beta Ray Bill. We have some Asgardian characters here. We have Odin. All right. We have Throg over here. Really cool. And here's even a little section for house rules if you want to house rule it up. If you want to choose your universe, the main comic book universe is commonly known as 616. However, the universe in which you play your game is actually its own separate universe. Okay, then we have the section for the core mechanics. And of course, if we're talking about mechanics, who better to include in the artwork than Rocket Raccoon here? All right. And here, it explains the system. Basically, this RPG has a D616 system, where you're rolling 3 different dice, and they have their own custom-made dice that you can buy separately. And you're going to roll 3 of these dice, and you're going to add up the total numbers. Now, if the red die that you roll, which is referred to as the Marvel die, if it comes up with the Marvel logo, that is referred to as a fantastic result. So you count the Marvel die as if it were a 6 instead of a 1, and then you add up the numbers like usual. That's why you have the play on words 616. So basically, the red-sided die increases your chances of rolling a 6. Really neat feature to this dice rolling system here. And here it talks about more about fantastic rolls. It also talks about fantastic failure. Believe it or not, it's possible to get a fantastic roll and still fail the action check. It's not easy to do, but it can happen. This is a no but result. The action fails, but something special still happens. So there is a consolation prize for rolling a bad roll that at least includes rolling the fantastic roll, that is the Marvel die, turning up on the Marvel side. We have an ultimate fantastic roll, which would include 2 6s on the regular dice and the Marvel die having the Marvel icon. Okay, so we have all that. Now we have a section here for character profiles. And speaking of character, who has a better character than Steve Rogers, aka Captain America? And here we have different sections. We have ranks, we have ability scores. Okay, we have other things to factor in, such as health, such as karma, such as focus. Okay, damage and speed and size are all included here. We have backstory and origin, traits and tags. And here we have a sample character sheet. We have Spider-Man Peter Parker, and we see he has a rank 4, a karma 4, health 90, focus 90. He has an initiative modifier. We see all his different abilities here on the left side. Non-combat check modifiers, his traits and his tags, and his different powers. And this is the other side, the other sample side of the character sheet here for Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Okay. So now we have the next section, which is a section on combat. We have artwork here with Taskmaster taking on Wolverine. Of course, they're choosing their artwork appropriately for each section. Different characters that are associated with different things here. And it explains a bit about the possibility of using miniatures, playing on a grid, vertical movement versus playing free form. Let's see. We have some timing issues that are addressed and the sequence of play. So it describes here, you determine your positions, you roll initiative checks to determine the initiative order, you start a new round, each character takes their turn in initiative order. If any combatants are still able and want to fight, go back to step 3, otherwise the combat ends. Okay, so we have all this, and here we have some nice artwork with Deadpool here playing a tabletop role-playing game, and he is indeed using a grid and some miniatures. Okay. Here we have more explanations as far as combat's concerned. We have attack, we have grab, we have some dodge and escape. All right. We have some reactions that you can take during combat, some movement actions. Okay. It even has a section here for falling, for dealing damage. And here's a section for weapons. So while lots of characters in the Marvel Universe like to fight with their bare fists, a number of others use weapons. And here we see some common weapons such as pistols, bows, rifles, sniper rifles, shotguns, machine guns, knives and swords and clubs, of course. And here we have a picture with a bunch of different Marvel characters wielding different weapons, spears, swords, and such. And then here is another section for additional weapon rules. Of course, we do have characters such as Captain America and Thor who are associated with particular types of weapons. All right, we have a section here for conditions, some team maneuvers. Okay. Attacking objects, plowing through objects. And then the next section here is the section on creating a character. And this might be everybody's favorite section. This might be the section that you consult more often than not in the preparation of your own character. And it talks about building a character and their rank and their ability scores, of course, their backstory, their powers, their other scores such as health, focus, damages, okay, initiative modifiers, size, speed, character data, their code name as opposed to their real name. So this is a Marvel themed game where that's going to be an important feature. You have a superhero, but they also have their own personal secret identity. We have a section here for their personality, so that looks cool. They even give you an example character here. All right, then we have a section just for backstories. We have some artwork here with Steve Rogers after the super serum, Spider-Man here allowing the robber, the thief, to get away, who would eventually kill Uncle Ben. We have the Silver Surfer being given the power cosmic by Galactus over here. So they have an entire section just for backstories. That's pretty cool. Here we have a nice piece of artwork with Thor and Hercules, his frenemy over here. And then we have a section for powers. And here we have Storm and Iceman and Scott Summers, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, and Jubilee as well in the artwork. And we have an entire section just for that. I like this picture here of Storm. That's a nice one. All right, and here we have all different types of powers. We have elemental control. Characters like Storm and probably Thor would have these. We have illusion. Characters like Loki, perhaps. We have magic. Again, Loki, Scarlet Witch, and of course, Doctor Strange here. We have a sorcery set, which is a subset for the magic. We have this chaos, this demonic, and this sorcery subsets for the magic powers. We have martial arts, characters like Iron Fist. We have melee weapons. We have omniversal travel. We have multiple of these. We have plasticity, I guess, for characters like Marvel Girl and Mr. Fantastic. We have phasing for characters like Kitty Pryde and Vision. Power control, ranged weapons, resize, shield bearer, spider powers, tons of characters across the Spider-Verse, and a bunch of different other types of powers that are represented here. And we have additional stuff here. This is really, really cool. Lots of different powers to choose from when constructing or creating or customizing your personal characters. Alrighty. Lots. This section is enormous. It is the largest section so far in this book. Then we move to a section just on characters, and we have Doctor Doom here, who is set to have a major role in the MCU Phase 5 and 6. We have Chapter 8 for characters, and here they have some characters already here. Characters such as Abomination, characters such as Agatha Harkness. We have Agent Phil Coulson here, and we have America Chavez, and we have all pre-populated stats here for them, so that's really cool. We have an AIM agent. We have Ant-Man. We have Baron Helmut Zemo. We have Beast, Hank McCoy. We have Black Bolt, one of my favorite underrated Marvel characters. We have Black Panther, T'Challa. We have Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff. We have Blade over here. We have Blue Marvel and Brawn, Amadeus Cho. We have Bullseye here. And, of course, Captain America, Steve Rogers. And we just have a ton of characters. Another large section here. Emma Frost, Enchantress, Icarus, Invisible Woman. Just a ton of characters. We're only on the eyes here. Kraven the Hunter, Malekith, Mr. Fantastic. Here we have Nightcrawler and Night Nurse. We have Psylocke and Professor X. We have Red Skull. We have Ronan the Accuser and Rocket Raccoon, Scarlet Witch and Sabretooth, She-Hulk, Shuri, Silk and Skrull, Spider-Man Miles Morales, not to mention Spider-Man Peter Parker, not to mention Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara, Squirrel Girl, Storm, Star-Lord, Sunspot, Thanos, Thor, Thing, Thor, Odin's Son, Titania, Vampire, Ultron, Vision, Venom, Vulture, War Machine, Wasp, White Tiger, Wolverine, Winter Soldier, Wong, Wolverine. Okay. Woo, that's a lot of characters. So between the power sections and the character sections, that's the bulk of this book. Here we have the Marvel Multiverse. So this is an important concept in Marvel. You've got the 2099 Multiverse. You've got the Noir. You've got 616, not to mention... not 616, I should say, 1610, not to mention Spider-Ham's corner of the Marvel Universe or Marvel Multiverse. And we have an entire section just for explaining that concept here in this game. Different elements of geography and location and date and such. We have an entire section here for the narrator. I guess that's the way that they refer to the DM as, the Dungeon Master or the Game Master is going to be the narrator. And they talk about how to set up the game, a section here for how to run the game, a section for how to take breaks during the game. All right. And it talks about illusions and mirages. So I guess that's a way for the narrator / dungeon master to control the game and keep the players on their toes. And that is really, really cool. And I believe this is the last section for the game. It has a lot to say. There are some appendices and glossaries towards the end of the game. End of the book, I should say, and that's pretty much it. Here is the back cover. And yes, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining us here at RPG Rookies. We'll catch you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.